Recently in the Philippines, City volunteers traveled to Bulacan province to visit care recipients. Besides catching up with each family, volunteers also brought a surprise for one particular family in need.
City care recipient Bonnie Castete lost his left leg in an accident. Without a means to provide for his family, Castete's relatives all worried about how he, his wife, and their 6 children will be able to get by. Thankfully, Tsuji showed up at his door, and this time they brought a surprise gift.
This is a big help for us. Tsuji has given us a lot of support, like food and financial aid for my children, because I can't work. I thank them for all their help.
Thank you.
Philippine City volunteers recently visited some of their care recipients in Bulacan province, 16 kilometers north of Manila. Among the recipients is Rosemary Nape, whose daughter suffers from cerebral palsy. Despite the burden of the illness, Nape has remained strong with City's assistance.
Since meeting Tzu Ji, they have given us a lot of assistance. They have lifted our spirits because someone is finally helping us, especially by providing milk for my daughter. In this way, our burden is lessened.
Another who is not giving up on life is care recipient Freddie Lin Otoyan.
We are very grateful to the Tzu Ji Foundation because without their assistance, I don't know what would happen to me and my daughter.
This family knows that the way to repay Tzu Ji's love is to pay it forward by doing something good for the planet.
I very gladly participate in recycling collection and save some coins for Tzu Ji. This is my way to pay Tzu Ji back and at the same time a way to help others.
A caring word makes society warm once again, while a loving heart lights up the world.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, many disaster-stricken areas were left without access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation. To help, humanitarian groups such as UNICEF reached out with a helping hand. Besides providing water purification systems, the organization even installed washrooms for impoverished residents in and around Tacloban City. Next, let's take a look at the changes in residents' lives a year after the disaster. Following Typhoon Haiyan, disaster survivors were evacuated to 14 different temporary shelters where they had to share a water station. As it was very inconvenient, many decided to drink untreated water, which caused a widespread outbreak of diarrhea. It's only after encountering such a calamity that many realized the importance of water. Although a year has passed since the disaster, residents in Guti village, Tacloban, are still living without running water. To solve the problem, villagers decided to drill wells. However,
many residents contracted diarrhea and nematodes because they drank untreated water.
Currently, 600 residents in Guti village share a well that has safe drinking water. The other wells, which contains high levels of impurities, are used to irrigate crops and for washing. This is 22-year-old Katrine, who has been very happy since her family installed a toilet. Katrine says she has been hoping to have her own toilet since young.
We finally don't have to borrow our neighbors' washrooms after the UNICEF installed a toilet for us. It's much more convenient.
As villagers here can barely make ends meet, many were unable to afford a toilet.
Defecating in the open in this barangay. So those are people who used to go in the bushes because they didn't have access to a toilet, and that actually has very, negative effects on health as well as on dignity because people feel unsafe.
There are 133 households in this village, and with UNICEF's assistance, 109 households now have their own washrooms. Now about 80% of the locals have access to toilets.
Building washrooms for disaster survivors is the first step in preventing possible outbreaks of disease. This is a toilet factory in Tacloban City sponsored by UNICEF, where tens of thousands of toilets are made by local residents.
These transitional sites, people live for about 2 or 3 months, and at the same time they're helping to build their permanent homes. And so in one of these transitional sites, we have these toilets.
With the help of UNICEF, more than 310,000 disaster survivors receive free toilets, while more than 1.3 million residents now have access to safe drinking water.
Water was contaminated. We had to also provide the tablets to purify the water.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, only 2 hospitals in Tacloban City were still running. How to overcome the problem of limited access to clean water became a top priority for hospitals. Thanks to UNICEF, which donated this water purification system, Tacloban City Hospital was able to stay open. Through this pipe, salt water from the ocean is pumped into the machine, which filters away salt and impurities, leaving it safe to drink.
The hospital, there are a lot of people coming in, there are a lot of patients, so we really need water to keep the hospital running.
To prevent contamination and pollution of the environment, hospital wastewater will go through a water purification system before being released back to the ocean. With the help of humanitarian groups such as the UNICEF, there has been no major disease outbreak in the Haiyan-stricken areas. Furthermore, as the rebuilding process continues, UNICEF continues to pass on important health tips to locals.